Life Check Yourself with Megan Walrod, the sneaky ways women self-abandon and how to stop. Ladies, welcome. I feel like it's been a year and a half since I recorded, and I'm super happy to kick off the summer season here with my next guest, who I met on Substack. I like to say that because I sound very cool and hip. Megan Walrod is a writer, women's empowerment coach, and founder of Live Your Yes. For 16 years, as long as I have, she's supported thousands of women to break free from their good girl training, oh bless, and create fun, fulfilling lives by unapologetically owning their true selves. And this badass life coach wrote a novel, which is so incredible. It's called It's Always Been Me. And it brings a lot of the themes that she's been working on with women for the last 16 years to life in a very cool, very powerful story of feminine awakening. It's got a great little plot. Super excited for her to tell you about it. But it's really about a courageous journey from self-abandonment to self-trust, which is the journey that pretty much everyone who's listening to this show is on. In her book, she brings a playful yet powerful approach to personal transformation, plus a thing for mermaids, cupcakes, and skinny dipping. So I'm just so impressed and so happy to have you.
Marnie, I'm so happy to be here too. I wonder where we're going to go in this conversation today.
I know, right? Well, my first thing is just like, were you always like, I want to write a novel? Or did you have a memoir that you decided to turn into a novel? Like,
I love storytelling as a young girl. I loved reading. I would devour a book a day during the summertime. I discovered creative writing in second grade, which just like blew open inner doorways. And so I loved storytelling, but I never set out to be, to write the next great American novel.
right?
And it's more that I was in the midst of a deep personal healing journey after a divorce and a broken engagement. And this book really found me. The story found me and came through me onto the page, and it really served as a healing story for me first before it was clear that it wanted to be shared with the world too.
I love it. When I wrote my book, like I had an idea of what it was going to be, but then when I wrote it, it like had a story to tell, and it really was a mirror. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't even realize that. And that's like, I think like the creativity of your soul expressing itself here, and then how fun that you created something that now we all get to read. So the name of this session here is The Sneaky Ways Women Self-Abandon and How to Stop. You've been doing this for a long time. I think the most interesting thing when someone is doing this on autopilot is they don't even really realize they're giving their power away. So if someone's listening and they're like, am I, or am I just like a very busy, very efficient, very high functioning person? Like, how does someone even know?
Ultimately, I feel like in our heart of hearts, we know if we're not living the life that we know is ours to live, like in a really what can feel like really quiet, buried, tucked away place. I believe that we know. However, there's all this layer of conditioning, all this layer of stories that we've bought from outside of ourselves about what a woman should be, what a good girl should be, what a good wife, what a good sister, all of that. So there's all this layer of crap that has covered up that knowing. So often the signs that we're giving away our power, that we're self-abandoning, is you might feel resentful. Well, why does she get to do that and I don't? Why does he get to do it? Why do they get to do it and I don't? You might feel exhausted because you're so focused on doing for everyone else instead of yourself. You may have even reached the point of burnout. Or you may struggle with feeling guilty or selfish when you do want to choose something for pleasure, or you want to do something on your own. So those are often the cues of like, oh, I'm feeling selfish. What if that's just a story I'm telling myself and that's not actually true? This isn't a bad thing. And so I like using those cues because usually women are in touch with, I feel resentful. or I'm feeling guilty, or
Right.
those can be cues to get curious and start to explore what's really going on. Don't take that feeling or story at face value.
What do you say to because I have a couple clients when they first come to me that they've built a very intricate system, where they're very needed.
Yes.
Right. And it's very big and it's very messy. And I hear a lot of people say like, well, you don't understand, like, no one else can do it. These fire, like I can't, all the reasons why they can't. How do you tell someone to start to rewind or unpack or unplug from this when in their reality they really feel like the world is on fire, and if they don't tend to it, like, apocalypse is coming?
One of the first things I do, and this can seem so counterintuitive, is actually go into, so what do you love about this? What do you love about being needed? About not having time for yourself, about always feeling like you're putting out fires, about feeling like you could never do this thing for yourself? Because there is a part of us that feels very familiar, that feels very safe, and there's like shadow benefits to it. So we got to start before we can even begin to shift and take a step towards something else. It's like, okay, what's working about this for you? What do you love about it? And the first response might be, well, I don't love it. I hate it, right?
That's why I came here. I hate
exactly,
it.
Exactly. So it's getting in touch with that part of us. And we all have that part of us that's like, actually, I feel really valuable when I'm so needed. And when I'm busy and I'm running 100 million an hour and, I hit the pillow exhausted at night, I feel like needed and my life is worthwhile. And so, oh my God, that's heavy. And over time we unpack that, right? So instead of outsourcing our sense of value and our sense of worth and what feels familiar and safe, we begin to look at, what if there's other pathways here? What if there's other ways to find that value and feel that value?
And I think you have to be open to this idea that there is something that you love, right? Like there is a benefit. I was just talking to someone about this afternoon, and she finally was like, oh, well, if I do this like over and over and over again, then I'll never quite be successful and I'll never quite fail. And then I don't have to, really show up because how could I ever do this? Right. Like it's so big, but then also there's like the sabotage of like actually creating it. So I think what you're saying is it's so tricky. So in your novel, I know that your main character is very much, has to have like a, to like, start to deal with this stuff. So is your main character you? Like what, tell me about that.
Totally. And can I, first of all, I don't have kids in this lifetime, so my book is like my baby, and I just wanted to visually share it. I know I shared it with you in advance, the digital, but just like, this is my baby.
I love your baby. But it's such a huge thing, right? And I birthed one too, and it takes more than a minute. That's for sure.
Exactly. Off and on over 10 years. And so to answer your question, is Sabina me? Let's say she's inspired by my own real life journey of in my marriage, how I lost myself and didn't even realize it. And when my husband came home and said he wanted to explore a relationship with another woman, that was completely devastating. And Sabina has her own experience in marriage with betrayal. And we both get to have that wake-up call that was needed for both of us. That betrayal was a wake-up call to, what story have you been living, girlfriend? Like, where have you been tucking away your dreams? Where have you been burying your power? Where have you been making him and his dreams so much more important that I became in my marriage, Marnie? And at the time I felt like I'm a strong woman. I was content for a while to be the number one fan. My
Right.
then husband was a musician. He did want to be a rock star. And we would joke about, like, I was a number one fan, sit up front, middle row. And there were so many things for me to unwind from, to be honest with myself about where I was choosing that because it felt familiar and safe. And
I think this is, I was just talking to someone who said, when there's a challenge, it's actually a signal that there's a really big opportunity that's like better than you could imagine that could come from this tragedy. And you had this, and I love that in your novel, Sabina's grandmother needs her. So it's kind of ironic, right? Like the thing that starts her on the journey is she's like, oh, I'm just going to go to be number one fan of grandma. Right? Because wherever we go, there we are, right? Until it doesn't work anymore. And
Totally.
so so was it hard, were you like, as you were writing this character, was it hard to not overcorrect because you already had the wisdom? Or was it hard to let her like fall down, make mistakes?
Both and yes and no. And let me just say, Sabina's relationship with her Nana is so different than her relationship with her husband. And that's actually a relationship that it's her Nana that imparts this wisdom that helps Sabina wake up to see the trance that she was living. So it's more of her Nana calls to her, having had a stroke. This is in the first scene. So this is in the back cover copy. So this isn't a spoiler.
Okay, we're not,
listeners.
there's no spoilers.
But like, it's like the perfect storm, right? The wake up call of like betrayal, and her Nana's had a stroke. And so all of that forces Sabina to like wake up to what she's been doing and where she's been bearing her dream to be an artist to support her husband. So I just wanted to clarify that because her relationship with her Nana is so
I love that. Thank you for that. Cause I'm just looking at it from this one point, but
exactly.
I think what's really amazing is like when I'm coaching someone or someone comes to me, I'm always trying to like it doesn't have to be a crisis, but I think honestly, like having a crisis is what does wake people up and is kind of like the main thing. So when you think about the dream that got hidden underneath being the good girl and the number one fan for everyone else, I love that. You talk about saying yes to yourself, and the guilt that sort of like is there when you make that first brave decision. How do you help women like live with the discomfort of taking those first steps?
I love that question because it's a biggie, and it ties into your other question too about, was I course correcting my protagonist when writing the story because like I knew better and I couldn't let her fall. So it's like there's a both and overlap. So I'll unpack both. So when working with women, it is so uncomfortable to make different choices, right? So the question becomes though, which kind of discomfort are you willing to say yes to have a life that is actually fun and fulfilling for you? Because guess what? It's uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable if they're seeking you out, if they're seeking me out, or if they're thinking about, there's a discomfort of it's not what I want it to be right now. I know something more is possible, whether they're dating or in a relationship or like not feeling they're getting the intimacy in their relationship or not feeling fulfilled by their work path or that kind of thing. There's a discomfort. So the discomfort of taking new steps, of saying yes to yourself, of yes to your dream, of, I'm going to have these hard conversations. I want to inspire all listeners to know, and this is what I share with the women that I'm working with. It's like, it's a new kind of discomfort that comes with knowing you are starting to have your own back. This is the discomfort that allows you to look at yourself in the mirror and say, girlfriend, you're being brave. You're having those hard conversations. I freaking love you. And this is going to be really uncomfortable. And it's going to feel like you're doing something really wrong by advocating for yourself. But this is the way forward. This is the way to creating the life you want.
I think it's I've been doing this personal development work for a long ass time since I was in my 30s and now I'm 59. I think it's really interesting how it is so sneaky. like we get so
Yeah.
wrapped, for me, like can get so wrapped up in something new that's uncomfortable. And I'll always default to like, oh, well, I'm not good at this. Like I only know this one thing and this is a new thing. So let me like default to what everyone else thinks, not trusting myself. Right.
Yeah. Yep.
And so and I grew up in Iowa, so I also think that I have this Midwestern sensibility of like, no, come on, shucks, everyone's a good old gal like me. So when you are living in that discomfort and you're saying that like, you go girl, like, I love you, I've got this. How many times, how long do you think it takes someone to actually start to do it enough to where they start to experience a felt sense of confidence? Like, because it doesn't necessarily happen maybe the first time, but
No.
it's like, it's like a little bit of a repeat, right?
Yeah. Well, it's the mistake around confidence is women feeling like I need to wait till I feel confident to do the thing.
Yes. Oh
but
my God. Yeah.
The flip experience, the truth is the confidence gets built by doing those things that are uncomfortable, that are challenging, that we're afraid of, that take us beyond our comfort zone. So when you said the word repeat, yeah, it's like doing new things and practicing it. Don't do the old things on repeat. Don't just repeat the things you know, because that's going to get you the same results, right? That's insanity. It's the practice and the repeating these new and different pathways, because there's actually brain science around it, right? Like the neural pathways, we have super highways in our brain for all the habit, the body memory moments of like going to tending to someone else first, and, oh, are you cold? I'll turn the heat down, or I'll turn the heat up. Meanwhile, we're like hot, or whatever it is, it's like dismissing our own needs to prioritize others and make sure that they're comfortable. We have super highways in our brain knowing how to do that. The pathways around saying yes to ourselves, tending to what are my needs, what do I want to say in this moment, those require us to like pull out the machete and like bushwhack, right? They're newly formed. So the more we repeat new practices, don't wait to feel confident, but do those things, we build those into dirt roads and eventually, paved roads and slowly highways, and the confidence comes.
Yeah. And I think that I was just reading something this morning about how, this is very common. Like you're like, okay, I'm going to set these boundaries and, I'm going to say what I want for dinner tonight, and then someone will be like, whatever. And then you toss and turn, like, are they mad at me? Like, right. And then maybe their behavior doesn't change or your world doesn't change automatically. And you go, never mind. Right. So
yes.
So in your story, how is this conveyed? Like, without giving it away, what does she need? What is our main character? What does she need to learn to actually keep staying in the path? Because I can imagine for her, she's like got all these dreams of an artist. She's got the husband that she sort of like didn't have to fail because she was the #1 fan. She didn't have to be successful. So like, what do you think were her main, or how did you create her main lessons that actually gave her that confidence?
So I love that question. And just to preserve the discovery that can happen for readers, I'm going to share what occurred in my own life.
Oh, I love that even more. I was like, I don't know. Yeah.
Inspired this. And there's this moment in time, Marnie, where I was like, I got to share a story with you that like something just came through me in such a visceral way. That was such a pivotal moment for me. So I had just found out, I was staying in a friend's home, and I had just found out that my soon to be ex-husband was like looking at houses or something with the woman that he had left me to explore something with, like something big was happening for them. And I remember just like walking around the house, just going like, enough. And I was process painting and just slapping black and red acrylic paint on this canvas. Enough with a palette knife. Enough. And it was like not cognitive. It was not rational. I don't even know what I was saying enough to. I was just stomping around the house. Enough. And then something just like cracked open in me. And I was like, I am never going to repeat this again. Whatever I did that contributed to this. I am not going to repeat this awfulness again. And that moment from my attention being on them of like,
yeah, exactly.
They
That's
are.
you,
What are they
right?
doing? And like for the first time, I was tapped into my anger and my potency. And then I got tapped into there's something that I can be or do different going forward so as not to recreate this. So I started to look at what am I responsible for here and how do I need to change my relationship with men and ultimately myself so that I don't repeat this horrible devastation. And so that for me was one of the huge lessons learned of I'm not a victim at the effect of these other people's choices. I get to choose, and that's letting go of being the fan. I get to choose, okay, if this is my life, how do I want to author it? How am I going to show up?
It's so good.
The page of my life. And if I'm the heroine of my journey, I don't want to repeat that story. So what do I want to create? And how does everything need to change from in here first?
Yeah, I think when you're in that good girl syndrome, it's just so easy to blame the container, your boss, your husband, your whatever. And that, like, if anyone listening, we both get it. Like, it does suck. I'm sure they're an asshole. Like, I'm sure, you're right. And also, like, so what? Because we can't change those things that are outside of us. And I think it's about having that courage to say, like, well, for me, I felt like, well, if I'm not the good girl in my life, then who am I?
Yeah.
Like that felt so scary. And then, and then I have to take responsibility, which is, it's right.
It's scary because we've been taught that we can't trust ourselves, that we need someone outside of ourselves to give us permission. We need to look to the authorities. What would you do if you were me? You know better than me. We've been taught to doubt our intuition, and we've been taught to be so focused, so outward focused that there hasn't been that cultivating of that relationship with self, those skills, that trust, that knowing how to listen and to really recognize I have agency. I can actually choose for me and trust my choices. So it's definitely a journey to that.
And so when you became a published author, like, did you feel like in this new journey of like having, birthing something, right? Like, did you feel yourself going up against like new scenarios of different patterns of like trusting yourself or your confidence, your agency, or listening to gurus or publishers? Like, how did you have to keep practicing this as you reinvent your own life?
So I love that. And there are two stories that are popping. One, I published a nonfiction book back in 2018, and it was co-written with a nonprofit in Uganda that highlighted 16 stories of the young adolescent girls that they were empowering through their education and empowerment programs. It's called We Have Something to Say, True Stories from Adolescent Girls Growing Up in the Slums of Kampala. Longest title ever.
Oh my God.
Yet it raised over $50,000 for the nonprofit from private donors. It's opened up doors, and it's helped these girls recognize they're now published authors.
Yes.
So it was an amazing project. And yet, before it was published, I was sitting there holding these stories, hearing this voice inside my head saying, these aren't book-worthy stories. What am I doing? Like, I have raised money for my community. I crowdsourced the money to publish and print it because the nonprofit didn't have that. And there was this major inner critic voice that was so loud and felt so real. And thank goodness I had the self-awareness enough to be like, okay, this feels like shit when I buy this story. I got to check in with a trusted ally and support person. So I called up a woman. I was in Uganda at the time. I called up a woman in the States who had been like my ongoing coach, cheerleader, therapist person, resource. And when I was talking this through with her and reading some of the stories, she helped me see that's a voice of doubt, and that's not real and true. And as you're sharing these stories with me, we're both actually crying and tapping into the beauty of them. And so that was a big piece. So for women who are listening and feeling that sense of doubt as you're on the cusp of sharing something big with the world, I invite you to really get present to, is this actually true?
Yes.
Or is this just what I like to call the doubting diva trying to have her way with you? Then is it time to call, your trusted advisor, whoever that might be, to get that reality check? So
such good advice.
Doubt was a big one. And then one other short story with this book, It's Always Been Me. Once I was in touch with the publisher and they'd offered me a book contract. I hired a lawyer because I wanted to know, like, what am I signing? And I got off one of the calls with the publisher where I'd been kind of like pushing back about certain things. And I literally got to watch my conditioned mind say, oh my God, you're being like a diva. What if they deem you high maintenance and they pull the contract and they don't want to work with you? And again, that was my moment of the conditioned mind misinterpreting me advocating for myself by saying, you're being wrong. You might be being a bitch. You're going to rupture the relationship. So these stories are these examples of where we're conditioned to be that good girl. Don't rock the boat. Don't ask for something more in the contract, right? Like, this is invaluable. And both books required me to step into, actually, I know the truth here. These are extremely valuable. I get to stand for what's important to me. My needs matter. And I got my needs met in the contract.
Of course you did. Yeah. And I think that it's like and we also get so caught up into to the gripping of, oh God, what if this isn't it, right? Whether it's the job or the relationship or whatever, the friend, right? Like, if I do this, then I'll lose this. And then, I won't have anything. And I just keep learning over and over again. It's like letting go of that gripping, like, because the truth is, if they didn't then meet your needs, then you would have had integrity and not been that good girl. And you know what? Someone else probably would have swooped in and given it to you. And I think that when we don't have faith in ourselves and in the universe, and trusting that if something goes away, there's something better around the corner, is really hard when you're in the middle, but so valuable.
It's so valuable. And it's also not waiting for something else around the corner too. It's also recognizing, if I choose for me and that causes someone else to leave, to exit, to not want to be in relationship with me, that's could be really painful. But ultimately, what is my other choice? To leave me?
Right. And that's
like to walk out my life and be like, bye, honey. I desire their love more than I desire yours. So it's ultimately that, can I have that? What does it take to build that relationship with myself where I'm what matters?
Yeah.
And this is the love that I want to cultivate and have throughout my life.
And how do you give someone who's listening? Because I was literally just coaching someone who's pretty young, who was like, sometimes I don't even say what I want for dinner. I don't say what I want to do on Saturday afternoon. I defer to other people, or I just go, I don't know. Let's talk about staying quiet, staying I don't know. And just the habit of staying silent. What in the moment, what can our listeners do to get the courage to risk it all to heal?
Oh God, I love that so much. Risk it all to heal. I feel like that's a title for your next book.
Oh God.
Risk it all to heal, or at least your next Substack. So risk it all to heal. So here's what I invite, is to let go of the pressure for a little while of feeling like you need to risk it all to heal by saying something in the moment with someone else. Instead, you're going to spend some time with yourself, with potentially a journal, with potentially your daily walks or hikes or whatever that might be that you do that's like out in nature or movement, where you spend time getting in touch with, what do I actually want? What are 10 things that would be fun for me to do on a weekend? Do I want to go to a gallery? Do I want to go see a movie? Do I want to go lay in the park and read a great novel? Do I want to just curl up and binge watch, The Handmaid's Tale? Like, create a list. And it all starts with our relationship with ourselves, right? Getting in touch with, what do I actually desire? What do I actually want? What are 10 meals that I'd love to have over the course of this month for dinner, for lunch, whatever. So you are self-referencing and building your own. And at first you might just have one or two things on this list. Add to it over time. So then when you're in the moment of someone saying, hey, what do you want to do this weekend?
You're like, wait, let me grab my list.
Exactly. Wait, I've got some things right here, actually. How about we do this or do that? Do either of those sound fun for you? I'd be really psyched to do either one of those. So it starts in here too, first, right? And I am a lifelong journaler and a huge fan of, this is where we start to unpack all the not us to get in touch with who is the us. And it's where we get to say all the things we haven't said out there to others in as messy and as volcanic as you want to get, because it's safe there. It's safe there. So those are the steps that I would encourage listeners to take.
I think that's so important, right? Like, if you can say what you want or desire to yourself, no one can judge it. It's just your little list. It's just your little dream. And I think the other
don't leave
thing,
it there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't leave it there ultimately. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. But like, that way you get to actually have the space. Because I think also people freeze. What do you want to do? It's like going to the Cheesecake Factory. I don't know. There's 27,000 things and I don't know.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. And the cool thing could be too, is once, you've got your lists going and that kind of thing, that is the beginning of a profound you getting in touch with yourself. And then here's something too, because sometimes that inner perfectionist can feel like, oh, the first time I give an answer, it's got to be right. What if instead of trying to get it right, you let yourself play? What would it be like to go in? It's summertime here, right? Like, what would it be like to go into the Ben and Jerry's ice cream store and you have 39 flavors or 27,000 cheesecake factory, and you just play with, I think today I want to experiment with chocolate peanut butter, and I've never had the birthday cake dough things. I'm going to get a little bit of both, just to play and explore. What do I like? What don't I like?
And this is so, it's an experiment, right? So
exactly,
it's like giving yourself the room to learn a new skill. And I know people are like, oh, but that's so basic, I should know. No, if you never practice it, if you never got the skill, if you just default always to letting other people decide, then you don't have the skill of taking responsibility or knowing. So you're like, what's that? I'm trying to think of that movie. Oh my God, I've read so many books recently. Never mind. But it was something that I read where this person is like, every day they have to redecide who they are. They can't remember anything.
Oh, Drew Barrymore?
Yeah, maybe.
Where she forgets who, okay.
Yeah, 51st dates or whatever. She's just like, right? And so treat it like that, you're just taking yourself on 51st dates and you just get to decide and play with it every day as a blank slate.
Because that also helps change the story of, if I'm not the good girl, who am I? This helps you start to explore, who am I as the woman who likes to go spend an hour at the spa on my Saturday? Who am I as the woman who wants to go bowling for an hour on Saturday? Or, it's like, we have range. Let's break free of that society straitjacket and explore it.
And my last question is, since we're talking about challenges and how you've been, how you face them in the process of writing this book over a 10-year period of time. What, for someone who's pursuing a dream and it's been marinating, maybe they've taken a few steps forward or a few steps back. What do you offer to them? And I'm sure there's lots of people who are like, I would like to write a book one day.
So here's what I want to say. If you haven't yet started, but there's that dream of yours, what is something that you can do within the next 15 minutes after you listen to this episode? Maybe it's writing on a Post-it, I'm saying yes to my dream of writing a book, or maybe it's calling that person that is going to help you have a conversation to get clear on what that is. Whatever it is, what's one thing you could do as an action to say yes to your dream. That's one thing. If you've started like writing the book or started towards your dream and you feel like you've got this judgment of it's been taking so long, why has it been taking so long? I started writing this over 10 years ago.
Oh my
and
gosh.
there were different points along the way that it felt like the muse had gone away.
Yeah.
And I wasn't writing, and I wondered, is this it? What's it going to take to finally write it? I tried to force it, and the force wasn't there. I finally came to see that my muse was so freaking brilliant. She was saying to me, girlfriend, you got to go do some living and growing and unwinding from these stories of what culture says is the happily ever after, so you can disrupt that narrative and write a different happily ever after, because that's what you need, girlfriend me, and that's what the world needs. So I was becoming the woman who could finish this book and give Sabina her most empowering ending.
Finished. I love that, because the you that started it might have written a different ending, and that might not have been the one that the world needed.
Completely. So you could be in the path of becoming who you need to be to actually experience that dream come true.
Oh my gosh. I was on a trip to France and I had this crazy idea for a novel, and I mapped out like so much of it. And then I was like, wait, do I really want to spend my time doing that right now? But you're really helpful for me, because like I have that idea and I'm going to put it in a document, and I'm going to be like,
yes,
because I was like, could I write a novel? I don't really know how to write a novel. Like I only know how to write like memoir and all that kind of crap. Okay. Last question for you. Well, first two questions. What, well, because I want to know, so where can people hear you, find you, see you, get the book? So
meganwalrod.com/book. That's Megan, Megan, Walrod, WALROD.com/book. I'm sure it will be in the show notes, and that's going to take you where you can get information about the book. You can buy the book. You can download journaling questions to help you go beyond the book and explore how it relates to your own life. You can get book club discussion topics. There's just if you're in, you can join me online for my book tour or in person. So that's where all the juicy info is right now.
I love it. And so what are you working on? I think I heard a rumor you're working on another book, like a Sabine Does Not Go Away. She's got
exactly. There is a book too in the works, and it's in the patiently waiting in the wings until we get some more momentum going with book one, but it's definitely there. We're not done yet.
Oh my God. I love that. And I really encourage, like if someone was asking me the other day, Megan, if I go on Substack, do I have to pay for every person? And I was like, no, Substack is free. Like go on there. You can find Megan. She's writing great stuff all the time. You can follow her. Yes, you can of course stay, go deeper and all of those things. But if a person's like, what the hell is Substack and what's everyone talking about? Literally download the app, go play around on it. It's so much fun. You'll meet great people and just be exposed to so many voices in a really seamless way. And that's where you and I met. And so it's my new favorite thing and I'm obsessed. So y'all should try it out. It's just so much easier than Facebook. There's no ads.
And it's supportive and it's kind and it's creative. And whether you're a writer too, or you love reading, there's so much great caliber content there to binge and so many great communities to connect in with. And most everyone has a free version of what they share. And if you want to go deeper with them, you can pay, but it's such a beautiful community.
I love it. I'm so grateful. We met with Sarah Faye, right? Is that
where we did. Writers at Work.
Yeah. I'm like here, I'm there. I love it. I am so excited that are you still in Bali?
I left Bali for my book tour. So I've been coast to coast, California, Colorado. Now I'm in New York for my book tour. So we're waiting to see where is next, because it might be where Sabina goes in book 2. So
I love that. I love it. Well, I know in your media kit, you said like, it's got Lily King vibes, and she's one of my favorite, fun to read authors.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Like I always read those books so fast and they're really easy and fun, but also you're like, whoa, this is deep. This is good. So
Absolutely.
definitely down. So first of all y'all who listen, you're like downloading self-help books 24/7. Give yourself a damn break and read some fiction right now. Fiction is good. Fiction is good for your soul. Fiction is fun. You could take a break. And you know what? You probably learn about yourself in a new way by reading about Sabine's adventures and so many women who've ever had struggle in love, been divorced, like probably 10x. But that's my invitation for everyone who's listening. Like, give yourself some fiction this summer and just take a break from the self-help. All of us. In fact, that's all I read now is fiction. I can't even read any more self-help. I'm full up to here. I don't want any more 5-step systems.
I so get that.
Right?
And this is fiction. I just had someone today share how she's reading my book and she called it chewy because she's like, it's a great summer read with depth and it has me reflecting and taking inventory and I can't put it down. So it's like that bingeable beach read with depth that will give you something to chew on.
Yeah, so get it for your next book club for fall and go talk about it with your friends. To me, when I'm like, oh my God, I want to discuss this. I love books like that. And this one is definitely one of those. So thank you for being here. I'm glad we made this work. Congratulations. So happy for you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for this chance to talk. This is just so rich that it's just exciting to be able to co-create this conversation.
Do it. Ladies, this episode, while it might be about an amazing fiction book called It's Always Been Me, actually, it's an opportunity for you, dear heart, to life check yourself. If you have good girl syndrome, if you're very, very busy and you're very, very low-key proud of it, or it's keeping you safe and stuck, I think there were lots of little juicy tidbits that Megan gave you, how you can step out, go and create that list of things you love. Don't just keep it on your phone. Tell someone what you want and enjoy the heck out of your life because you only get one. Always life check yourself. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now. Hey, thanks for tuning in today. Listen, if you're feeling stuck, I want you to know you're not alone. And you don't have to settle for it. I've created a free quiz to help you pinpoint what's draining your energy and exactly how you can fix it. So head over to decodeyourdestinyquiz.com and take the 60-second quiz right now. That's decodeyourdestinyquiz.com. And if you're ready to dive deeper, you can book a free no-obligation consultation at marnibatista.com/private coaching. That's Marni, M-A-R-N-I, Batista, B-A-T-T-I-S, as in Sam, T-A.com/private coaching, all one word. Let's take the first step to creating a life you love on your terms. I'm Marni, and I'll see you next time.